so many people find it, like maybe more than 90% of people agree with it. I haven't really found anyone that I judge to be incorrectly represented. First of all, temperament is basically your, I want to make this family friendly, if you know what I mean. But it can also be represented as your love for other people in some sort of sense. You can sort of recognize a high temperament person as someone who has a very bright smile, as my wife puts it, is a very nice hugger. So apparently with someone's hug, you can feel a lot of temperament. Okay, but let's start from the bottom. So with 0 temperament, you have cold temperament people. And these cold temperament people, they basically do not want any sort of action in under the sheets, and they're pretty cold about it too. This might sound really bad, but if you have 4, it compensates actually. So 4, if you have some 4, it's sort of included in temperament. So let's say you have 0 temperament, but you have some 4, you could have 1 or 2 temperament. Now it doesn't mean you're cold or you're a bad person or anything like that if you have 0 temperament. It just means that you don't really put intimacy at the top of the pedestal when it comes to relationships and interactions in life. Perhaps you value communication more, or you value some sort of spiritual connection or something like this. But for most people, they would value something else, and their partners would value something else. Okay, then you have 1 temperament, which is cold. Sorry, 0 temperament is very cold. So 1 temperament is cold, and it's almost the same as 0, just a bit more. 1 temperament people have the propensity to cheat, because what they do is they know they have a low temperament, but they want to show other people that they have a high temperament. So they're overcompensating, they're projecting in some way, and they are probably the most likely to cheat out of any of the temperament classes. So watch out for them, but there's nothing wrong with them, of course. There's nothing wrong with anyone. It's just, like I said, how you value intimacy in the relationship. Because temperament, it's very important in relationships. If you are in a relationship where the temperament is very close, like you're a 4 and the other person's a 5, or you're a 1, the other person's a 0, it can really work out. But if you're like a 0 and a 5 or something like this, then it's going to be really tough. And people listening who are one of these, they know exactly what I mean if they have been in such a position, because it's tough. And then you have 2 temperament. This is the average, actually. So you can do it yourself. You can do a whole Excel sheet, and you can see that 2 is the one that shows up the most. So yeah, that's average. Nothing special. I mean, everyone's special, but it's nothing over the top, and it's nothing too cold. Then you have 3, and like I said, with most of these lines, anything related with 3 is to do with like being spontaneous. So if you have a 3 temperament, you can adjust. If your partner is low temperament, you're fine with being a low temperament. If your partner is a high temperament, you're fine with being a high temperament too. So 3s are pretty neat. Then you have 4. We're starting to get into the warm territory. 4, these people very nice. They have a nice warm smile, nice warm hug. Just everything about them sort of shouts warm. They don't really hate people. 0s don't hate people, but maybe they do. And then you have 5, which is hot. So these people love intimacy, and they really want to do it with someone they love. I mean, you might be saying to yourself, well, everyone wants to do it with someone they love, but 5 temperament people can be very, say, flirtatious or this sort of stuff, but they really just want to have a soulmate, and then they want to, go crazy with their soulmate. Okay, and then you have 6 temperament, like me, and these people are actually too hot sometimes. So the idea is that these people, it's not that they want intimacy so much, it's like with the 2 situation, with the energy. Sometimes you have so much energy that you actually become complacent, and you don't exert the energy. And with temperament, the idea is that when you have a 6 temperament or a 7 or 8, because it sort of, the description stops at 6. Anything higher than that, you sort of leave your partner feeling like you are unfulfilled. So your partner might be thinking like, what did I do wrong? The 6 temperament person might be like, oh, I don't feel like it tonight, that sort of stuff. It's basically what they want to do because it's too impulsive If they are in the mood, then they'll go crazy. But if they're not in the mood, they'll just be like, nah, sorry. Their hug is extremely welcoming, and their eye contact can be very, very temperamental. That's what I've assessed. So yeah, 6 temperament. It doesn't mean like you're the coolest because you got a high temperament. It can actually be a bad thing. The in-country or some other sources have said actually that 5 is the best temperament to have, because 6 is just like too much, you know. It's not sort of stable in what it wants in terms of intimacy.